Alright, the last step that we need to take before we get into the creation of the ashtray or the cam of the ashtray itself is go ahead and set up our assembly. So I'm here at a blank sketch. I'm going to Control S for save, and then we are going to save our assembly. The next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and drag in the soft jaw model that is set up for the 4-inch round stock. And we will just hit enter or press OK. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and drag in the ashtray. We're going to move the ashtray above our round stock, press enter, and then we're going to orbit so we can find the back of the ashtray. We're going to press J for joint, click the center of the back of the ashtray, and we are going to join it to our round stock in the center. Now we know our ashtray is 750 thousandths. So what we're going to do is first we'll start with minus 0.75 to go down in Z are 750 thousandths. That's the height of the ashtray. Now my round stock is rather rough, so I'm actually going to go below the surface of my round stock by 100 thousandths. So we'll bring it down there. Okay, so now I'm going to press OK, and now we have the ashtray inside of our stock. The next thing we want to do is bring in our second vise and then join it just to the model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide our first vise setup, and I'm going to drag in the next vise setup. We're going to move it up, and then we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. Now you notice I didn't bring it far enough up, so we'll go ahead and raise it some more. That's good enough. We'll hit enter, and then we will go ahead and hide the round stock. Alright, so now what we want to do is join the ashtray to our soft jaws. You'll notice that it's kind of hard to do, right? There is no surface on top of the ashtray that gives us a nice point to joint. So what we're going to do is go ahead and open up the ashtray model, and then we're going to create a new sketch, and we're going to click the top surface, and we're going to press C for circle, click the center, and we know that the diameter of our ashtray is 3.95 inches. Hit enter, and now we have a nice sketch that is on top of the ashtray. So I'll go ahead and finish this. We'll go back to our assembly, and we should be able to update our ashtray. Let me go ahead and save this. Alright, so you can see here we have a little warning saying that our model needs updated, so we will get the latest. And now you see we have that nice sketch on top. So this time we will press J for join again, click the center of that sketch, and then all we need to do is click on our joint origin. Press enter. And now what we'll do is we'll go back to the home view for a second, and we will go ahead and make our other vise set up visible. And now you have it. We have both of our vices set up for cam. I'll orbit around so we can get a better look. And this is just, in my opinion, the better method, or my personal preference when it comes to setting up cam. I like having both vices ready, and then I can do all the operations or all the setups at one time. Alright, so that's what we'll do now. We'll now go to the manufacturing workspace and we'll begin our cam. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make our second fixture invisible, and our first setup will be with our first fixture, which is the vise with the soft jaws to hold the 4-inch stock. Alright, so now what I want to do is right click setup, new setup. We want to go to the stock tab, and we want to choose from a solid, so from solid, and now we'll go ahead and expand our vise model and click our round stock. Beautiful. The next thing we want to do is choose our work origin, or in my case, where I'm going to probe with my Tormach passive probe. So I am going to go to a selected point, I'm going to orbit, and I'm going to select the back left corner of my soft jaw, always on the fixed jaw side of the vise. All right, and then I'm going to select the model, which is the ashtray, and now I'm going to enable fixture, and I'm going to select the vise components, and now I'm going to click OK. We'll go back to our home view, and so there is the setup for op1. And now we're going to have the exact same setup for op2, because I'm going to mill out all of the stock around the ashtray and then put the epoxy in. So if I were to get any epoxy on the bottom on the bottom surface on the inside of the ashtray, I'll be able to clean that up. So we're going to have our second op where we just go in and finish the inside of the ashtray. So I'm just going to right click, go to duplicate, and now we have that set up. And now for our third setup, we're actually going to flip our part and machine the hat of stock off of the bottom. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to make the first vise fixture invisible, and I'm going to enable the second one. Now you'll notice here, for some reason, the vise does not show up. And so if that happens, all that we need to do is make sure that the bodies of our second vise fixture are visible. And so to do that, we are just going to click on the eye symbol for all the parts of the vise, and now you'll see that our vise fixture is indeed visible. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and orbit. There we go. That should work fine. And now I'm going to right click and say new setup. And what I'm going to do now is go to stock from previous. That's fine. We'll go to our setup. We'll select our model. So the model is going to be the ashtray again. We will enable the fixture, and we will select all of our vise components. So we'll expand and select everything except for the parametric stock. We do not want to select that. Okay. And now what we want to do is again go to selected point for our work origin and select the back left corner of our soft jaw again. And now you'll notice that the coordinates are wrong, or the axis is wrong, I should say. So we'll go ahead and click Z. That'll get us halfway there. We'll click X. So now X, Y, and Z are in the proper locations for the Tormach. So now we're good. We'll go ahead and click OK. And that does it for this video. So we've made our soft jaws. We've got our setups ready, and so in the next series of video, we'll go in depth to all of the cam operations. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again.